Rochelle, we decided to face west tonight here in Austin, Texas. We were hoping to catch the sunset behind me, but between the dry ice and the overcast skies, we're not so sure. I say this with more than a little bit of remorse on the penultimate night of this festival. We've seen so much great live music this week, and you can probably hear a little bit of it behind me right now. But tonight, we're looking east because China has doubled down on its presence at this year's festival. But if the numbers are growing, then the challenges remain the same.
Hip-hop began in America, and China is bringing it home, with Lo Sun making her debut at the South by Southwest Festival.
I think that it is deeply rooted in black culture. We're very attracted to it, but we don't have that kind of music because we don't have the same identity with that culture.
With more than 600 million streaming users in China, the audience for musicians is enormous. But finding a voice here in the US, where music revenues are much higher and copyright laws stronger, can be lucrative.
Come closer to me, okay?
This year's festival is staging 2 showcases from China with more than a dozen artists, double the number from last year.
I feel like the listeners that I target here, and this is probably like my ultimate goal to promote my music. Like, this is the place. Yes.
Even so, those helping to give these emerging talents a platform are trying to keep expectations realistic.
Our China night is just the 2nd year, right? But we have patience. We have a long-term plan. The young musicians, they are so excited. Wow, wow, amazing, amazing, surprise, you know. Actually, they even don't care about whether there will be 100 or 1,000 people coming to see their show. Maybe they're just 10 people. That's okay.
And if the US is an eye-opener for Chinese artists, Western music companies are also looking closely at China's marketplace, with industry revenues forecast to top $1 billion by 2020.
Oh, P.S. Every Chinese have an American dream, maybe.
Yeah, an American dream indeed, Rochelle. And the landscape is changing, and maybe, just maybe, there might be the musical infrastructure to help these Chinese artists. You might remember when Tencent floated here in the United States. It's now a publicly traded company here in the United States. It runs 4 of the biggest streaming platforms in China with an audience of hundreds of millions of people. But there's always been a big discrepancy between the size of that audience and the revenues. Chinese people typically have been slow to actually pay for streaming, and there's obviously been problems with piracy there, but industry insiders say that's likely to change, and maybe that new wave of Chinese bands that we've been seeing this week can capitalize on that as they go forward.
Now, Owen, I'm sure you've heard a lot of music this week. Who else caught your eye?
Yeah, I knew you might put me on the spot like that. We've seen fantastic bands from New Zealand, from Japan, China, of course, and here in the United States. But one band really did catch my eye and, of course, my ear. Listen to these guys. That was the sound of Black MIDI, Rochelle. They're from London. Now, you're going to accuse me of bias here for a homegrown band right here from the UK, right here in the United States. But the remarkable thing about this band is they have virtually no presence on the internet. It's almost impossible to buy one of their records, and they've really got no social media presence, although I suspect that will change after the number of people who've been watching and filming them this week. And of course, during a week when the political crisis in Britain over Brexit started to enrage a lot of people even more as that crisis escalates, well, maybe this band, Black MIDI, can channel that anger somewhat. At least that's what many of the fans were saying when they were watching them. And you have to ask yourself, if you can't vent your anger with rock and roll, well, what's the point? From South by Southwest in Austin, it's back to you.